Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Uncle Chrissy. Want to do something a little bit different today. You know, different topics come up in the sneaker world I want to talk about a little bit. There's one going on right now that I've had kind of bouncing around my head for a little bit. I've talked to some people in the industry on both sides of the coin, both from collectors and on brand side. And I'm really been asking myself this question about Nike and their direction and where they're going, and if they're lost. Like, is Nike really lost? We all know what happened with the last earnings report. It was not pretty. Earnings were down, revenues down across the board. They gave off a lot of examples about it. They gave off a bunch of reasons. They've laid off people from executives all the way down to top-notch designers and everybody in between, line level people, senior people. Nobody's safe from Nike at this point. And for some reason, they still don't really seem to be moving the needle. So it led me to ask this question: just how lost is Nike? Like, are they lost? Are they on track? Do they know what they're doing? But when it comes to product and moving units, I think they are a little bit lost. I really do. And there's a couple examples, two examples that I want to give y'all to kind of typify this. So we all know for the past probably 2 years, maybe, we've been hearing Nike talk about innovate. They brought in all new senior leaders with the sole direction of innovate. Find the next Air Jordan 1, find the next Air Force 1, do something major, make something positive that's going to move the needle for them going forward. The golden era for Nike is looking like it's over. It's looking like it's over. Pete Moore's not there anymore. I doubt Tinker Hatfield is putting in 70-hour days anymore. Bruce Kilgore is not there anymore. So the people that made Nike what they are, they're kind of moved on. They're either in the twilight or not around anymore. And Nike is struggling to find a stronghold and in the new community, in the new way of sneakers. Because as of right now, even though revenues are down, the best pairs they have, the pairs that are still moving the most, the pairs that are still sought after the most, are pairs that were made in the 80s and 90s. Like, they're nothing new. Nothing new is really seen as a needle mover for Nike right now. And I'll give you two examples. I'm going to give you two examples that are the Air Max DN and the Air Jordan 4 RM. So these are two shoes that Nike presumably put tons of research, tons of dollars into, both producing and from a marketing standpoint. And I asked a couple people in the industry, what happened? Like, why were these shoes, what was behind them? And more importantly, why did they flop? They both absolutely flopped. They're both sitting on Nike right now. And the reason that I keep getting is Nike is struggling from a little bit of a crisis in marketing. And it looks like, from what I've been told, Nike has a knack for producing a moment in time. They got a knack for producing something really strong for a quick minute. And the case in point is going to be, let's look at the Air Max DN, right? Let's look at the Air Max DN. They touted this out as the new wave, new technology, dynamic air unit, blah, 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 blah. Seems to be a pretty good product, right? Seems to be a pretty good product. They obviously put a lot of time and money into it. But how did they move that product? How did they get it out there? They started out with Supreme. So they had Supreme put out the Genesis pair. It was the all black. It had Supreme on the side. It was gangbusters. It was super limited stock, and everybody jumped after it. The Supreme website got hit so hard, hardest I can remember Supreme website getting hit since probably the Stars pack, the Dunk. Even the Ramelsi's was smoother than that, but that got hit really hard, went out real quick. After that, they brought out Kai Cenat on the Sneakers Live, had him tout it out. Kai Cenat is one of the biggest influencers in the world. They had him bring it out, and that again created a big moment for the people that copped on Sneakers Live. But since then, it's been flop after flop after flop after flop. If you look on their website, they're all sitting. Every colorway sitting right there. Yet they gave it the Electric Safari pack. They gave it the USA Olympics pack. They did tons to it, and every pair is sitting on their website right now. A lot of them are actually 25% off. Some of them already hit the sales rack. And we'll look at the RM. Look at the Air Jordan 4 RM. Really cool concept. Cut the Air Jordan 4 down, make it a little bit lower, make it a little more comfy, give it a bit of a remaster kind of approach. I like it. I like what they did with that. I think it's a cool product. It's not for me. Everybody knows I'm not the biggest Air Jordan 4 guy, but I like what they did with the shoe. And again, they produced a great moment in time with Nigel Sylvester. They had that big biking event in New York. Everybody went out for it. He did an event out in LA, and his two pairs, the Bike Air with the Grandma's Driveway and then the Driveway Gray, Cement Gray, whatever you call it, those pairs went massive. Everybody went crazy for them. They put this hype collab behind them, and they went nuts. Not only a few days after that, a week after that, they put out the first 3 GR colorways with the cream, the green, with the white midsole, and then the black and bone. The black and bone, for my money, was probably the best. And again, They completely sat. It was a massive flop. Every size still available on Nike right now. So what is going on? They're producing seemingly good products, but they just don't know how to move past this. They don't know how to move units outside of collabs. They don't know how to move product that doesn't have a big moment. You can't make the fortune. You can't make a massive Fortune 500 company off of a couple collabs. You know, Nike does this. This is their MO. Look at the Wu-Tang dunks. That was a precursor to the Iowa dunks. They put that pair out there with the Wu-Tang logo to give people the hype, to build it. It's called the NRG program. There's shoes that are labeled NRG. They do this. This is what they do. They put out a hype collab. They put a celebrity behind it, you know, an athlete, an influencer, a musician, somebody to give promise to the product. And then a little bit after that, they make that collab super limited. They make it hard to get. They build the demand. They build the hype. And then they start making all their money off those ones that are GRs. That's where they make their money from, not the collab. Right now, they're just not doing it. And, you know, like I said, I've talked to a few industry insiders, and it seems to be Nike has a big problem with actually marketing their product to the younger generation. We all know that the younger generation right now is wearing ASICS and New Balance. That is by far what is moving off them. I went to the mall the other day and I looked around, and I live in the DMV, so, you know, New Balance have always had this area on lock, and New Balance and ASICS, I mean, it was over. Like, all the young people are wearing that. There could be a little bit of a generational divide, you know, where the young people just don't want to wear the same Nikes and Adidas that their parents were wearing. But it seems to me that Nike they can't move the units. They can't move it off a regular GR pair. And if you can't move it off your GRs, it's going to be dark days ahead, because those collabs are not going to be what pays the rent. They're not going to be what pays the labor costs. It's not going to be what makes payroll. It's not. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm obviously not in marketing. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. And I would love to have a discussion about this, y'all. So peace. Let me know.